No one has ever documented the vicious sting of the panda ant until today. It's biting me. Ant stinging me. Deep in the mountains of Chile, there is an insect so rare and so elusive that its sting is completely undocumented by science. And that sting belongs to the panda ant. And today, we're going to try to make history by being the first to find this panda ant, capture it on video, and then of course I will take on the sting of the panda ant in a world's first. This is gonna be like looking for a fuzzy needle in a giant wilderness haystack. It's time to get searching. Now this won't be your average hike. Only a few panda ants have been found in the wild, so we're going to have to search this entire mountain range to even have a chance at finding one. Okay, this looks promising. This open area has a lot of sandy, loose material, which is perfect for the panda ant because it likes to make burrows, and it also allows us to cover a lot of ground fast. Covering ground. That is the name of the game when you're looking for very, very small creatures. The more ground your eyes can scan, the more likely it is you'll find what you're looking for. We're hearing water down below. In the desert, water is life. Let's try our luck in a different environment. Found the water. It looks so good. If you were ever stuck out here in the desert, this water would be absolutely life-saving and perfectly fine to drink running this fast. A little bouldering. Just seeing water is a boost of energy. I feel so good. It's good that we're seeing these flowers. Panda ants feed on a diet predominantly of nectar, so these flowers, good indication we have a food source. There's definitely more life down by this river. Finally feels like we're starting to close in on the panda ant. Seeing these smaller wasps, that makes me feel really positive. I think the trail is heating up. I'm starting to see yellow jackets. Good sign for us right now. This is the insect watering hole. But look at that one. See that one that's chasing the others off? It's got like a panda-like abdomen. You seeing this? You seeing this? The male panda ants have wings. Let's keep moving. Have to be getting close. Oh, whoa, look at all these. Just got to this trail and there are all these burrows. I can't say whether or not these are definitively panda ant burrows, but they're the right size and right shape and in the right place. Finally feels like we're starting to close in on the panda ant. Panda ant right there. Ho-ho-ho! Woo! We got one! Holy! Oh! We were literally just about to give up. It's not a big one, but that is a panda ant, baby! Let's go! Yes! Ah! Got one. But our luck wouldn't end there. As we prepped our presentation and captured the first ever video of this fuzzy little panda, something even more incredible happened. Got another one. Hold on. Get in there, go. They're so fast. So fast, this one's kind of small. Don't want to get stung. Not yet anyway. Yes, 2 panda ants. Holy cow. And this one really looks like a panda. Wow. Not 1, but 2 panda ants. This is such a rare opportunity to film this world famous creature. There is almost no footage of this species. In fact, this is likely the first 4K footage the world has seen of the panda ant, the world's smallest panda. The first thing I noticed about these creatures were their size. They are teeny tiny. Look at the little capsules that we had to bring with us for this presentation. But not only are they small, they are fast. I cannot believe we actually were able to get them into the containers. It's not likely that we're gonna be able to get very much B-roll of them walking around. All it would take is a small little hole or crack in the ground, and they are poof, gone. They got their name, the panda ant, because of that black and white fuzzy exoskeleton, which of course I keep calling them an ant, but they are not an ant at all. They are a species of wasp, and the wingless ones are actually females. The males of this species have wings, but the females do not possess wings. But what they do possess is the largest stinger to body size ratio of any insect in the world. They're related to the cow killer found in the southern United States, another species famous for its massive stinger and painful sting. Both have fuzzy exoskeletons and are classified as velvet ants. However, unlike the cow killer, the effects of the panda ant venom are completely unknown. And with that, it's time to take a closer look at their defense mechanisms. They don't just look like pandas for our amusement. They've developed this coloration to ward off predators to say, hey, I pack a punch, I have a lot of defenses, and you will regret it. Now let's talk about another defense mechanism. Let's bring the microphone in there real close. You hear that? That's called stridulation, which is a high frequency warning pitch that these insects are able to emit. And we're not just boosting the sound. This insect's actually noisy. I can hear it. Look at that. Swinging the abdomen already. Might get to see an appearance of that. Oh, that stinger's coming out. Compared to body size, that is a super long stinger. It will have no problem popping a stinger through my skin. Now remember when I said earlier, this is probably the first 4K footage of a panda ant. Let me also tell you, this is about to be the first ever documented sting of this species. No one has taken the sting of the panda ant. Going into the sting zone with the panda ant is truly the great unknown. I have no idea what kind of reaction I'm going to have, so we brought a couple of emergency remedies. Of course, our satellite phone. If I go into any kind of anaphylactic shock, we will use this for emergency distress calls. In addition to that, I always bring a first aid trauma kit. And in this trauma kit, I always have an EpiPen. That's pretty much our only remedies if this sting gets really bad. For the first time ever, it's time to go flesh the stinger with the panda ant. That stinger is flying. That is a very big stinger. I would say the stinger is the entire length of the lower abdomen. All right, it is time. I'm Mark Vins, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the panda ant. Here we go to the great unknown of the world of stings. 1, 2, 3. Yep, stinger's in. Stinger's in. Oh, I dropped her. Where'd she go?
Oh, it's here.
Definitely stung me.
Maybe over the wall?
Yeah, let me see. They're so fast. And they blend in perfectly where she can't have gotten far. Look around.
Here, I'm gonna look over here.
All right, yeah. Keep looking, keep looking. Oh no! Oh! Well, unfortunately, I dropped the ant. She definitely gave me a sting before hightailing it out of here. We've got 2 distinct sting marks. I would say it's probably similar to that of a hornet, but luckily for us, we have one more ant. In fact, this is the one that looks most like a panda. So, it's time to see if the world's smallest panda packs a potent punch. Gotta get a good grip. I know it looks easy, but it is so hard to get a good grip on these tiny little panda ants. There we go. Okay, the stinger's going. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, yeah, okay. Definitely took a really good sting and a bite. See this panda's jaws locked into me? I think this panda ant's bite is worse than its sting. Definitely getting little micro stings. This tiny panda ant just might not be big enough to deliver a full punch. Okay. Well, you can see here, I got 2 really good stings from the ant that got away. And then I probably have I don't know, like a dozen little micro stings. I left it there for a while, but there was 1 or 2 really good ones. Oh my God, there it is. Got it. We just found the first panda ant. Wow, I cannot believe it. What am I supposed to do with you? You ran away, and now you're back. Should we try to get like another wallop? All right, well, gonna go for another sting. I don't know if I got a full one that first time around. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Ah, yep, got me. Ah, it's biting me. Ah, ant stinging me. Got a good one there. Ah. Okay, yeah, all right. Really not a remarkable sting, even though we're getting a lot of redness and little micro swelling around those sting sites. This might have been the world's cutest sting. The sting of the tiny panda ant is no match for its growl. All right, let's let this little panda back into the wild. He kills many people throughout East Asia every single year. Ah! I am on the hunt for the deadliest sting in all of Borneo. And if I'm able to catch one of these super aggressive insects, I'm going to take a sting for myself to see just how painful it really is. Eyes up, these killers attack from the sky. So right now, we are looking for flowering plants because in all likelihood, that's where we're gonna find what we're after. The hornet itself does eat nectar and fruit, but it also hunts bees, which are attracted to flowers as well. So these banded hornets are really opportunistic. Oh man, we are in the thick of it now. Snake! Guys, we got a snake right here. Borneo keeled viper. It is venomous, and it is a really good sized one too, but so I can get it down. Oh, she's heavy. My goodness. You see what I mean now? That's why I want to be especially careful with this snake. I do believe she's carrying young, so she's what's called gravid, and she's about to give birth to a lot of baby snakes. Oh. So can you see that anytime she gets more than half of her body length out of my hook, I do a reset. As long as I have the hook in that first quarter, I'm fairly safe. Now, you would not want to take a bite from this viper. As docile as she is being right now, we can't let her guard down. In an instant, this snake could wake up, decide to become aggressive, and a bite from this animal would be a very dangerous situation. How's that for a shot? It's named the keeled viper because of the scales. They have a little ridge that goes in between each individual scale. Unlike most pit vipers, it has a much thicker jawline. It has a very robust and bold appearance. And then when you combine that with the coloration of this reptile, it's a knockout. We gotta cover some ground. We gotta get out of this canopy and hopefully find some flowers. I'm not sure there's gonna be many hornets hanging out in this dense jungle here. Oh wow, here's a flower. Guys, come check this out. This is called a Rafflesia flower. It is the national flower of Borneo, but it actually has a much more common name, the rotting corpse flower. Being that I've never encountered one of these before, you know I gotta test it. It definitely stinks. Not nearly as bad as I thought. Spoiled barbecue, no big deal. We're gonna head up here where there's more light and hopefully more flowers. I'm hearing a lot of buzzing. I got flowers, guys. Big flowers in there. Something's buzzing up there. I think we got one. I think we got one. Watch out, guys, watch out. I got it. Yes. Woo, we got one. Let's go to this clearing. I'm gonna get the jar. Oh, baby. Oh my goodness. That is it. The banded hornet, the deadliest stinging insect in all of Borneo. It is huge. Look how big it is. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe we got one. And it looks mean. Let's go set up the sting table. Let's do this. First, up close look at one of the insect killers of Borneo, the banded hornet. And it is enormous. Easily twice the size of hornets that I'm used to seeing. And look at that bright yellow band across the abdomen. An obvious reason as to how it got its name. Now there are two types of banded hornets. There are banded hornets in the mainland of East Asia, and then there are banded hornets in the tropical regions. And you can tell the difference mainly because the mainland hornet band stops right in the middle. So you see a black line above the yellow. The tropical version of this hornet has a yellow band that extends all the way to the top of the abdomen. And of course, here we are in the tropics, so this is in fact that species. But between the two, this one is known to be much more aggressive, and it kills many people throughout East Asia every single year. In fact, in 2018 alone, this species of hornet killed 7 people in Indonesia. And that is because of the toxicity of its venom and the aggression of the colonies of these hornets. They do nest, they do hive up, and when people are swarmed by these and inflicted with multiple stings, it can almost lead to instant anaphylaxis, instant shock. And sadly, yes, many people lose their lives due to those unfortunate encounters. But today, and because of all the stings that I've done before and my knowledge of what to do in case of an emergency situation from a sting, I am willing to go flesh to stinger with the terror that is known as the banded hornet of Borneo. And it looks intense, preparing itself for what is going to be probably one of my worst stings. The nerves are kicking in. Gonna take a sting on this arm. Got a little aftermath still going there from a different sting, but this is a nice blank canvas. Because this hornet could have a potentially emergency outcome to this sting test, let's just do a quick review, guys, on the EpiPen. If I need the EpiPen and I can't administer myself, this is what you do. Remove the pen from the container. Both blue caps come off, exposing the needle. You jam it into either of my legs. You depress the top for 10 seconds. Pull it out. And that will give me enough medicine to make it to where I can get more help. Okay, guys, here we go. Out of the container. Try to do it without getting it too fired up so I can get a good hold on it. See the stinger going. Got a bad hold. I've got it between the sheets. I'm gonna keep chasing it until I get to dead end. Make sure I got a good hold. I got a good hold. There it is. I'm Mark Vins, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the banded hornet of Borneo on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's in. Yeah, I get it. I got away. Oh, buddy, it got me. Oh. Oh, wow. Ooh, that burns. Oh, yeah. Instant searing pain. Stinger went deep right away. Flew off almost immediately. No one else was stung, thankfully. But that was a powerhouse of a sting, guys. It's like making my hand shake. All right, let's just monitor. We're gonna have to monitor this for like at least a half hour, guys. I'm not out of the woods by any means. It's been about 10 minutes after the sting. You can still see the blood at where the sting site was. A lot of the stings that I take remain in the upper parts of the skin, in the dermis of the skin. This one clearly went into the bloodstream, and it itches so bad already. Typically, itching does not set in for at least like 12 hours to a day. I have never experienced this on any sting before. And it still hurts. Let's be really, really clear. It does not feel good at all, but the itching is starting to overpower the pain. So unusual. But it's time to rank this insect, this banded hornet from Borneo, on the Brave Wilderness Bite Sting Index. And as always, it's going to be on 3 factors: intimidation, pain, and the aftermath. Roll it. On intimidation, the banded hornet certainly looks intense. It's easily twice as large as your average hornet, and they almost warn you not to touch them with that bright yellow banding. Plus, they do have that reputation of being the most deadly sting in Borneo, which is terrifying given how many stinging insects live out here. So for that, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. For pain, once the stinger dug into my skin and started dosing me with its venom, it was immediate. And the sting radiated throughout my entire arm, engulfing my forearm in searing pain. And it drew a drop of blood on top of that, which only happens with the most serious of stings, and it definitely made me nervous. Given all those factors, it easily earns its 8.1 out of 10 for pain. The aftermath of the banded hornet continues to earn it some serious points. That stinger went in deep and caused serious itching right away, which I have never experienced before. I went through wave after wave of pain, and we had to closely monitor my symptoms to make sure I wasn't having an allergic reaction. It also caused a shocking bullseye reaction on my arm, which is always concerning. Anytime I would get active in the days following, the swelling would come rushing back, including the horrible itch, which lasted for a full 48 hours. And for that, it gets an aftermath score of a solid 8 out of 10. All factors combined, the banded hornet ranks at an 8.2 on the Brave Wilderness BSI, beating out the cow killer from Arizona, but falling just short of the giant black carpenter bee, also from Borneo. Wow, this place stings. The thorny devil is like a living sculpture, and some rumors say it is so sharp it can actually draw blood when you try to catch it. So if we're lucky enough, we're gonna put those rumors to the test. Let's get searching. They live exclusively on a diet of ants. Because of that need, if you find an ant mound or an ant line, there's a good chance there's a thorny devil somewhere in the vicinity, so we can then create a perimeter and start really scanning the area. These are masters of camouflage in this environment, so you really need to narrow it down to a sweet spot. So sharp. Ah. This is definitely thorny devil habitat. Everything out here is spiky. Especially this plant right here. This is like little razor blade leaves. Gonna keep an eye out for that one as we search for this creature. Here we go. This is a good indication. You see that line in the sand right there? That's an ant track. You can actually see a few tiny, tiny ants making their way back to their nest. But this is great, guys. We've got the sandy environment. We found the food. Now it's time to find the devil itself. What I'm looking for now are either foot tracks or the outline. It has a very distinct contrast with the rest of the environment. The outline of the tail and the horns on the front. And that's what I'm gonna be scanning for along the ridges and along the bush lines. Luckily, the thorny devil is not very fast. You can see why you have to be such a specialized animal to call this your home. Humans would not do very well living out here. Oh, I see one. Got one. We got a devil. Oh, yes. Yes. We got one. Oh man. This is the coolest lizard on the planet, guys. Oh my gosh. I am so excited right now. I cannot believe we found a thorny devil. Look at how cool this little dragon is. This is one of the top targets out here. And unlike their cousins in America and Mexico, the horned lizards, these guys are actually super spiky. and you see it puffing up its body and pushing those spines out. That is one of its defense mechanisms. And I could tell you that if you were to grab onto this thorny devil without knowing that it was sharp, you would get a handful of spikes. Look at how cryptic the color patterning is. This animal is superior at camouflage in this environment, from the sand that's demonstrated in its arms to the foliage and the yellow leaf litter. This animal is perfectly designed for this habitat. You can see that I'm not really doing much to keep the animal here with us. They're very docile and slow moving. In fact, they use their tail as a balance to step forward. They're almost like a chameleon, and they'll do very cautious steps. So look at that, just in a matter of minutes from presenting this animal, it's already changed its color to a much more vibrant yellow on the back. And that's probably because the sun is really starting to come out today. And like most lizards, it is ectothermic. The more heat it absorbs in its body, the more energy it's going to have. And it certainly has earned its name, the Thorny Devil. It is extraordinarily sharp and spiny. And it is covered from the tip of its tail all the way to its fingers and sharp spikes. Andrew, stick your finger out there. Tell me what that's like.
Wow, it's like prickers.
It's literally as sharp as the thorns on a rose. Just because it has these defense mechanisms doesn't mean that this lizard doesn't have any predators. There are animals out here that would make a meal out of a thorny devil, including species of hawks and, of course, the predatory goannas, the giant monitors that live in this country. So that's where this animal will rely on its superior camouflage to blend into its environment, to not give its location away. It also has another unique defense mechanism. You see those two horns right at the neck? That is a false head. And in a defense situation, the thorny devil will tuck in its head, offer up that false head to any would-be predator so it has a chance to escape if attacked. So let's see if we can actually get it to do that. Offering that false head up. That is a great display. All right, let's pick it back up. Gosh, those spikes are sharp. Ah, oh, do you see him right there try to horn me? Ah, okay. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. I thought we had an agreement. We were gonna do this scene and I was gonna put you back, trying to show everybody how cool you are. There we go. If you ever wanna see one in person, you have to come here to one of its native ranges. Right now we are in Western Australia, but the range extends all the way to the center of the continent. But it lives in this specialized desert terrain, feeding on ants of a particular variety. Now, when I say feeding on ants, I should say feasting on ants. This little lizard has the ability to eat up to 3,000 ants a day. It will eat up to 1,000 ants in a single meal. And because of that, it actually is said that they are super intelligent. They have the ability to track through their environment to locate different colonies of ants, and they make sure that they don't overpredate any specific colony. They want to be able to come back to the food line to get another meal when they need it. These animals all have a very unique color pattern. You see underneath there? The patterning on the belly is like an individualized fingerprint for these lizards. So scientists will actually take photographs of the underside of a thorny devil so they can study the populations in any given area. And this one is super cool. It's very reticulated, almost like tiger stripes. Ah, so sharp. Ah, hang on. Ah, in addition to being super spiky, it has another very unique mechanism that is developed for life out here in the desert, and that's the ability to drink using its feet. Now, I've heard that if you actually pour water out and place a thorny devil in a small puddle, you can witness this happening. So we are going to try to demonstrate that for you right now. I've got a little water here. All right, let's see. Look at that. See all that moisture? Definitely have water coming up the back. I can see it on the neck. It's probably hydrating its eyes. And if we stay here long enough, it would actually be able to siphon some of that water into its mouth. But that is so cool. So those scales are adapted to be able to suck up moisture from the ground to keep this lizard hydrated. It's hard to believe, even holding it here in my hand, seeing it move, seeing it look at me, I'm almost in disbelief that this is even a real living thing. And for those of you who've been watching to see if the thorny devil is indeed sharp enough to draw blood, well, here you go. I mean, it is spiky. It's like holding the thorns of a rose. So I'm gonna do this delicately. Ready? Ah, you're spining me. Yep, it's wriggling around and it's so spiky, but I think the verdict is in. I do not think the thorny devil is sharp enough to draw blood, even though, ow, he's spiky. Definitely does not feel good when it tenses up those spines, ow. From its defense mechanisms and the spines and the false head to even the way that it drinks. How cool was it to come across the real dragon of the outback, the thorny devil. I'm Mark Benz, be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. All right, buddy, we're gonna put you back. This could be the one that sends me to the hospital. On 3. I am terrified. Tonight, I am on the hunt for the only deadly scorpion to live in the United States. This is a creature that should be avoided at all costs, but if I can catch an Arizona bark scorpion, I will intentionally take a sting, describe the pain, and show you an experience that has caused multiple human fatalities. Black light on, let's get searching. Over the years, I have been no stranger to experimenting with stings from the world's most painful creatures. But after surviving a horrible stonefish sting in Australia, I thought the worst pain I could experience had been set. That is, until this video. The bark scorpion is the only scorpion in the United States that is known to possess a potentially life-threatening sting. Every year, hundreds of cases are treated in hospitals all throughout the Southwest. So as much as this video will be shocking to some, it's an important lesson on how to identify this dangerous scorpion if you ever find yourself in this terrifying situation. So the sun has completely set and you can see how much area I can cover with my blacklight. Now the reason I am using the beast, as we call it, as a tool for tonight's search is because, like almost every scorpion on the planet, the Arizona bark scorpion will glow green underneath the blacklight. Now this flat area, not a bad place to look for scorpions. You can find them here, but the best place to look, down in the wash, which is just ahead. Let's go this way. So this is a scorpion hole. No scorpion, but see how it's long ways? That's from the pinchers coming out this way. That's a big scorpion den right there. Got a scorpion right here. Scorpion. Can't tell what kind it is, but I definitely have one. See it right here? Right there? I'm going to carefully move around here. Oh, it's on to me. Got him. All right. Yep, it's gonna pinch me a little bit, and then before it calms down. Okay, look at that venom at the tip of the tail. Let go of me. I've got a good hold. Look at that. I mean, unmistakable, right? Like you are not gonna miss something glowing out here in the desert that color. But unfortunately, this is not the bark scorpion that we are looking for. This is actually a very small desert hairy scorpion, one that I have already been stung by. Oh, you're pinching me. One that I have already been stung by for the Brave Wilderness Bite Sting Index, but this is a good sign that there are scorpions on the move. Let's put this little desert hairy back down where we found it and keep searching. Bye, buddy. Got a scorpion. Oh. Don't spook it, don't spook it, don't spook it. Got it. Oh my goodness. bark scorpion. Bark scorpion. Look at that. This is the most dangerous scorpion in all of North America, and one that has actually been responsible for human deaths. Okay, get it in jar. Relax. Woo! Okay. Oh, I cannot believe we found it. We were about to give up and head home for the night. Sure enough, this is the scorpion that I will now go up against to show you what it's like to get stung by one of the most feared arachnids in the world, the bark scorpion of the United States. Let's go set up the sting table. Here we go. That is the real deal, the bark scorpion. When it comes to scorpions that could be potentially dangerous and even life-threatening, the bark scorpion is the only scorpion that lives in the United States that's considered potentially deadly. And if you're wondering if I'm nervous, I am terrified. This sting pushes the limit. I hope I can make it through this one, guys. This one could be bad. I'm gonna take the scorpion out of the container so I can show you some of the key identifiers to know if you're looking at the Arizona bark scorpion or not. Okay, here we go. There's three main things you want to look for. See how the claws are very elongated. They're not powerful. They do not hurt. They can't really pinch you like a giant desert hairy scorpion could. Ah, yeah. These claws are very delicate, and they just use their claws for eating. They're not using those claws to capture their prey. What they are using, though, is their extraordinarily potent venom. If you look at the tip of the tail, the telson is what it's called. At the base of the stinger, the bark scorpion has a tooth. See that little notch? I can barely see it with my own eyes, but it's there. And that's how I was able to confirm this is a bark scorpion. No tooth, no bark. The third and most practical way to know that you're dealing with the bark scorpion is just by observing how you found it in the first place. Here we go, watch this. See that? Ran right underneath this piece of wood, hanging upside down. And these scorpions like to hide like this, guys, out of sight, inverted, underneath objects. So you can see here easily why people often get stung by bark scorpions. You're doing yard work, you pick up a piece of wood or a rock, you don't see the scorpion, you accidentally grab it, bam, you're stung. And what's worse than that, you often don't even see what stung you, but you sure can feel it. Now, it's time for the moment that I have been dreading for over 15 years, ever since I started coming to the Sonoran Desert. Quick PSA, I feel obligated to tell you, like I always tell you, but this one, guys, I'm very serious. Never attempt to recreate what you are about to see. All right, guys. Here we go. I hope I'm going to be okay and that this is just very painful in terms of an experience, but there's a chance that this might be the one, this could be the one that sends me to the hospital. Like we always do for the Bite Sting Index, I'm going to rate the sting of this scorpion on 3 different factors: intimidation, pain, and aftermath. I am intimidated, very much so. The pain, I believe, is going to be very severe, and for aftermath, this could be a high score. My heart is beating out of my chest. I absolutely feel fear right now. This is for real, I'm doing it. I'm Mark Vins, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the Arizona bark scorpion. I am terrified. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
painful. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, whoa, holy smokes. Oh, 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 you gotta put it away. I gotta put it back. Oh God, that's so bad. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh, 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 oh. Ah! Oh my gosh, guys, it's so bad. It's just my whole hand's numb. My whole hand is numb. Radiating heat. It's like it's so painful. Oh my gosh, I have never felt instant pain like that. I thought it was gonna be bad, but I did not think it was gonna be this bad. Oh my gosh. Oh, more painful than Stonefish. It's more painful than bullet ant. It's way more painful than the bullet ant. Oh.
Wow, we have a new king today.
Oh gosh, it really burns. It really burns to touch. It's so tender. So tender all through my finger. Oh gosh, and it hit me like I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that. I was not ready. I was not prepared for it to be this bad. Oh, it's getting worse. It feels like my whole hand's just like wanting to like curl up and seize. My whole finger is like almost like going paralyzed. That hurts. Oh, and it's swelling bad. Look at that. Look at my finger swelling up. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Never in my life have I felt a pain so shocking and so jarring. And what's crazier is the build of this sting was the first time I seriously thought about going to the hospital. In over 10 years of making videos on Brave Wilderness, I've never had to go or even thought about going. But this sting gets scary. For intimidation, this scorpion gets a huge score because it is well known for being the worst and most dangerous scorpion in North America. No other scorpion even comes close to being as feared as this one, and for that, it gets a 9.8 out of 10. For pain, I know I've had gnarlier looking stings before, like the bullet ant and the tarantula hawk that made my arm flare up right away, but this one was worse by far. It was like being struck by a lightning bolt of pain that made me jump up in the air and my whole hand shocked into numbness within a matter of seconds, leaving behind a pulsating pins and needles electrical fire in its wake. Simply put, it's a solid 10 of 10. For aftermath, this is where it got bad. The electrical pins and needles in my hand got worse, almost too painful to even touch. And then it started to spread. First up the top of my arm. Then my whole arm up to my elbow went numb. And that radiating Charlie horse pain got worse and worse and worse. And as the pain started to creep past my elbow, I thought I was certainly going to need to go to the hospital. And I'll admit to you right now, I was terrified that I had finally pushed it too far. And I told myself, if it gets to my shoulder, we're going. But luckily for me, it stopped just short. And after about 12 hours of numbness, it retreated back to my elbow, and by the next morning, it was only radiating in my hand and wrist. All in all, it took 4 days to regain feeling in most of my hand, but my finger and thumb took a full week to recover. So I'm sure by now you've guessed it, the aftermath was also a 10 out of 10, giving the Arizona bark scorpion a total BSI score of a 9.9, which easily dethrones the bullet ant and making it the brand new king of sting.
What just happened, Mark?
I just took the world's first ever sting from a mammoth wasp.
I've caught and been stung by some of the rarest insects on the planet, putting my body on the line against venoms that are completely undocumented by science. But in the hills of Borneo, my journey faithfully crossed paths with perhaps the rarest creature I've seen to date. It is a miracle we had our cameras ready to record this 1 in a million catch.
What is that?
Whoa, what the?
What is that? Holy mother. That is a monster bee, guys. Oh my gosh. I think that's a mammoth wasp. It is aggressive. Huge pinchers, bright yellow head, massive abdomen. This might be my worst sting test yet. I hope you guys are prepared for a big one, because what you're looking at there is the giant skulled wasp.
or more famously known as the mammoth wasp. Not only because of its massive size, but also because it is completely covered in hair, just like a woolly mammoth. Oh my goodness, and it is as intimidating of an insect as I have ever seen. This is bringing back memories of the tarantula hawk sting. I thought that was going to be the scariest wasp I would ever see. Ah! Ah! The mammoth wasp? Way worse. And let me show you why. I want to zoom into that head. Enormous mandibles on a menacing yellow skull cap right on top of its head. Reminds me of a gigantic yellow jacket, or dare I say, the murder hornet. And who knows, maybe one day, the mammoth wasp will be known as the murder wasp. Now, there's not much known about this species. To say it is rare does not do it justice. The reason you've likely never heard about a mammoth wasp before is because they are almost never seen, even by scientists. I saw a blog post from a scientist who claimed to have been searching out in these environments every day for 3 years, for 2 to 3 hours a day, and has only seen the species twice. Can you imagine? Over 1,000 days of searching. So the fact that we have caught one is amazing. And then of course, the fact that we're gonna test the sting of this insect, this one is gonna go into the record books of Brave Wilderness, guys. I can already tell. Not only is this going to be a super rare sting test, we're gonna have to do this one a little differently. So I'm not willing to take any risk with this one. We wanna be indoors while I do the sting test, just in case this wasp is able to pry its way out of the forceps while I have a hold. The chance to take a sting from this wasp and see what this is like is never gonna come around again. I fully expect the sting of this wasp to be excruciating because it is a parasitic wasp. Let me show you what this wasp is out there hunting. Besides nectar, which it does eat, it's hunting for these, the Atlas beetle, or more specifically, the grub of the Atlas beetle. You see, when these wasps find an Atlas beetle grub, they will sting it, lay eggs in it, so it's a built-in meal for the baby wasp. But because they use their sting to paralyze supersized grubs, it's going to need to have a super paralyzing sting. And at this size, the amount of venom that sting's gonna deliver, this will probably be the worst sting from a flying insect that I ever take. I'm gonna call it right now. I think this one's going to be off the charts on the BSI. Let's go inside, set up the sting table, and see what the mammoth wasp is really made of. Let's go. We've got the team inside this room here. We built a sting studio here in the heart of Borneo. And as excited as I was showing you this mammoth wasp, now is the moment where every sting test, the reality sets in that I'm gonna have to go through something usually uncomfortable. In this case, I think excruciating is the appropriate word. And there it is, right there. Here we go. We're locked in. Had we done this outside and the mammoth wasp were to escape, there is zero chance we would find another one. This is a one-shot deal. No matter what happens, the mammoth wasp is going on the bite sting index. What happens to me, that's what we're about to find out. Got forceps here, all right, because there's no documentation as to the effects of this sting or the venom of this species. EpiPen, and then, of course, a little hydration. This is a big one, guys. Had a lot of big stings over the years, but I don't think anything is quite as impressive as this mammoth wasp. If this is anything like the tarantula hawk, get ready for some fireworks. We're not going to take a sting on my right arm because it's pretty flared up right now after the carpenter bee sting. Oh, wow, yeah, wow. Oh, ah. Luckily, I got a good arm over here. Left arm, blank canvas for this sting. Now, everybody be aware, this wasp can easily escape. Be ready to react. Here we go. You guys ready? I'm gonna try to get it out. We're gonna see if we can do it without the bone. It senses that. Nope. Gonna need the net, please. To get this grab, I'm gonna put the wasp back in the net,
stretch these out, try to get a good hold. This is a powerful wasp, so it's gonna take a lot of force. Oh! Oh my gosh. I got it. Don't worry, guys. Oh my gosh. Talk about aggressive. Let's try to get it like further up in the net here. This wasp is trying to dig, not going up like I expected. All right, come on, come on. Up, up, up. Up, up, up. Come on. Come on. Go up. Go up. Get in the net. Up, up, up. Good, good. Good. This is gonna be so bad. Okay. Here we go. Jesus. Oh my gosh. Oh, jeez. All right. It's trying to escape. This is why we're doing it inside. Okay. Holy moly. My heart is going about 1,000 beats a minute right now. I am struggling to compose myself. It can literally scratch its own back with its stinger. There'd be no safe way to handle this wasp, but it's now or never. I'm Mark Venz, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the mammoth wasp on 3. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Ah! She's biting me. Ah! Ah! Stung multiple times. Ah! The bite hurts too. Ugh. Gosh. Ah! Yep. Yeah! Scraping me. All right, all right, all right. Ah! Ah! Oh! Okay.
Describe the pain, Mark.
It's building. She stung me so many times. She was also biting me. See all those bite marks? All right, it's building. Letting the pain build. I got stung about maybe a dozen times, at least 8 times I could count. It just was hitting me again and again and again. And a long sting or two, blood's drawn. You can see it's starting to swell. You got like this rashy area, some kind of rashy things going on here. That might be from the biting. Those mandibles, I felt the most, just gnawing into my skin. I'm definitely sweating profusely because the nerves are firing off, but in terms of pain, I definitely took a bunch of good stings. I left it on there as long as I could. I don't know, guys. I'm not out of the woods yet. The aftermath could very well be the worst part. The sting site is really bad. It's already cooked, guys. Look at that. So now we're gonna rate this sting on 3 factors. Like always, for the bite sting index: intimidation, pain, and aftermath. We're gonna give this sting 24 hours to develop. We're gonna keep the EpiPen on standby just in case I start to have an allergic reaction, but here is where the mammoth wasp from Borneo rates on the Brave Wilderness Bite Sting Index. Roll it. On intimidation, the mammoth wasp took things to a whole new level. Everything about this wasp is massive, including its stinger and its jaws. Plus, I was extra nervous because this is the first documented sting that we know of this species, so I had no idea what to expect. The mammoth wasp earns every bit of its intimidation score of a 9.8 out of 10. The pain was not quite as I expected. My nerves were on edge, so that rush of pain at the beginning was startling. It immediately jabbed me multiple times and dosed me with venom, which was a bright and red-hot kind of pain, but ultimately it did not build to the likes of the tarantula hawk. It also fell short to the giant black carpenter bee, which I had faced 24 hours earlier, so it was fresh on my mind. Oh, wow, yeah! The pain from the black bee was so explosive that it sent shockwaves all throughout my system, where the mammoth wasp just didn't quite get that bad. So overall, I give it a pain score of a 6.9 out of 10. Now for the aftermath, which was indeed much worse than the initial pain of the sting. Over the next 72 hours, the sting site swelled up into a tightly grouped sting mound, showing massive amounts of inflammation and even bruising. It caused a deep, throbbing ache that lasted for days, and it was almost like having a broken bone. As far as lasting effects go, the mammoth wasp delivered a sting that was on par to some of the meanest insect stings on the planet, earning it an aftermath score of an 8.8 out of 10. Altogether, the mammoth wasp ranks at an 8.5 out of 10 on the Brave Wilderness Bite Sting Index, climbing very high into the all-time rankings, but falling just short of the terrifying tarantula hawk. All right, guys, in this video, we are searching the jungles of Thailand for one of the most bizarre insects on the planet, the acid-spraying violin beetle, in an effort to see if it's truly as dangerous as the local legends say. Let's get searching. Not only are they super unique looking, they are enormous, and they possess a very dangerous defense mechanism. The violin beetle has the power to secrete and spray acid, which can make you go blind. And we're going to catch one. We just started our search here, and we've already come across something really crazy looking. Check this out. Hold on tight if you have arachnophobia. That is a huge golden orb weaver. Wow, that is a giant one. Walk onto my hand. Oh boy.
Whoa!
Oh boy.
Watch out, Mark. He's on your back.
That's nerve-wracking. Where is he now?
He's in the back.
Right on your backpack. Right in the middle of your backpack. Yep. Gently.
Careful. He's coming back up.
Yep. He's climbing back up now.
Okay. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Whoa! Look at the size of that spider, guys. Oh my goodness. Look at that.
Now, is he dangerous at all?
These spiders possess a really painful bite. Luckily for me though, it takes a lot to agitate them enough to get a chomp. So if I just handle it carefully, I'll be just fine. Wow, what a spider. Are you kidding me? Look at the size. This is the biggest golden orb weaver spider I've ever seen. Well, this is a really good sign that we're on the right track. Up next, hopefully we find that giant insect that we're after. Let's put this spider back, keep moving up the stream. Ugh. These violin beetles are really good at hiding. Prefers darkness, tight crevices near water. So we are in the perfect spot to start our search. Crevices of rocks, fallen trees, and in between sheets of fungus, actually. All right, hey, Andrew, I'm gonna try to flip this log, see what's underneath this.
Do you have a good feeling about this spot? Well, big ant nest, huge ant nest.
Where?
Up top, right by your hand. Watch out.
It got me. Well, first sting in Thailand. Got nailed by these are some kind of fire ant. Yeah, they definitely sting. Look at that, jeez. Lit me up. All right, guys hear that? Oh, monkey. Guys, bring your cameras over here.
Oh, cool.
Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
The monkey is hanging out. You guys hear that? Monkeys in the background making an alarm call, so we do have to keep our wits about us.
Oh, cool.
This jungle is home to leopards, bears, and even on occasion a tiger. Water, like the stream, is rare, and during the dry season, it's drawing in some things that can be super hazardous to myself and the crew. We want to find big overhangs. These violin beetles are enormous. So they're gonna prefer much larger spaces than say like a little crevice like this rock here. Let's go into this tree. Not seeing enough fungus. Do you wanna see fungus, smell fungus? It should be damp. That is where these insects spend almost the majority of their lives, except for their larval stage, where they'll actually live in the water. Oh, right there. Look at that. Hey guys, I got a crab.
Crab?
Cool. These are little forest crabs out here. And I bet they can pinch pretty good. Yeah, they can pinch pretty good. Yep. Ow. Ow, gosh, it got me the worst spot. That's, come on, buddy. Let go of me. Come on. Yes. I'm gonna hold it just like this. Didn't draw any blood, but man, that pinched really good. These crabs are all up and down the stream bed. Kind of looks like a shore crab that you'd find in a tide pool. Not used to seeing crabs near a stream. There are a lot of them out here. Look at that. See all that purple underneath its legs? Let's put this crab back. See you, buddy. Finding more wildlife, this is a good sign. I feel like we're honing in on those violin beetles. See this fungus? This is exactly what we're looking for. These kind of logs with fungus growing on them are the perfect habitat for the violin beetle. This is exactly what they like.
See anything?
No. The rest of the team found something. We're on our way. Oh, wow. A red-tailed racer. All right, you guys rolling?
We're rolling.
Okay. Looks like it's gonna stay put if I just... Oh, turn back
Careful,
on.
Mark.
It's okay, it's okay. They're non-venomous, but they are bitey. Stay back. See if I can just get it out of this tree. Oh man, see him biting me? Get my snake hook there. Got it. See if we can get him to calm down. All right, there we go. That was intense. Definitely turned around and struck him a few times. Luckily, this is a non-venomous species of snake. It looks almost like a green mamba in a way. So there's like a part of my brain that's like, don't get bit by the snake. See that? See it striking? Look how it's flattening out its neck. The more calm I am, the more calm the snake will be. Pretty rare to come across one of these racers because typically they're found much higher up in the canopies, hunting for anything that it can fit in its mouth. We're talking lizards, frogs, and even birds. I just had to take this opportunity to present this beautiful snake up close like this. We've got an audience of monkeys right overhead that are probably looking at me like I'm crazy. And all the things I've seen in Thailand so far, this is by far the coolest find. We're getting close. I can feel it. This is exactly the environment we need to search. See this underhang? I'm gonna get my flashlight out and I'm gonna get up under there. I have a feeling this is the perfect spot to find what we're looking for today.
You see something, Mark?
Oh my goodness. Guys, I got him.
You can see him?
Oh yeah, man, they are weird. Oh my goodness. There's about 8 of them. And
Did you say 8 of them?
there's about 8 of them. They're all hugged up underneath this stump or this log here. And I feel like if I can just get my jar on top of them, I'm gonna have a good chance at getting it into an area where we can film it. Okay, so I'm gonna use this. Wish me luck, guys. Here we go. That's not working.
Are they moving around in there?
Yeah, they're fast. They're really fast. This is gonna be a lot more challenging than I thought. Oh. You guys smell that? Smell that jar. That's the smell of the acid they spray. That is pungent. Okay, I'm gonna need to use my sunglasses. If I get sprayed in the eye, this is one of the real dangers of this animal is if you get it in your eyes, the locals down here say that you can go blind. So I'm just gonna wear these sunglasses. I'm just gonna have to grab one. Got one right here. Just wanna try to get the catch. Oh man, this is gonna be gnarly. Got one. Got one.
Got him?
Got it. Get in the jar. Oh my gosh. That was crazy. Woo! All right. We got it, guys. Woo, yeah. And it was already secreting that defense mechanism. All right, let's get into an area where we can get this violin bug in a little bit better light so you can see why this is one of the strangest insects in the entire world. All right. Time to get a closer look at the violin beetle of Thailand. Luckily there's more where this came from, but I want to try to be gentle. There we go. Look at that.
Whoa.
Are you kidding me? Have you ever in your life seen anything like that? I mean, you could clearly see why it gets its name, the violin beetle, shaped like a violin, and those wings on the sides of the body there are somewhat translucent, giving it this lacquer-like appearance. So I would say it's accurately described. Now, they do come in a couple different color varieties. This one is the toffee brown color. Trying to handle it with the utmost care. They have a very potent defense mechanism where they can actually secrete and even spray butyric acid. I can smell it. Oh, it's definitely all inside the jar. It almost reminds me of like smelling salts. It's very pungent, it like makes your eyes water. You can imagine if you were sprayed with a mouthful or an eyeful of that, you'd immediately turn the other direction and run away. Now you may be asking yourself, looking at the size of this insect, Mark, is that as big as it grows? Actually, no, they can get up to double this size. Now, getting a closer look. Oh, whoa.
Now, do you know where they spray their acid from?
They secrete the acid from the abdomen, and my guess is from underneath. I'm actually gonna try to pin the beetle so we can see the underside and maybe we can see it spray. See that abdomen right there? So it likely secretes that butyric acid right from the back of the abdomen. Yep. And that, woof. Oh, it's got a huge waft of it, yeah. Ooh. But I also want to show you, look at this. Look at the center thorax of this beetle. It's got like serrated edges. It almost looks like a knife on both sides of it. It's super bizarre and menacing. That head and neck, elongated. It's like a giraffe almost. Kind of looks like a giant assassin bug meets a cockroach, meets a mantis. This is truly the territory of bizarre insects. Easily the most unique looking insect that I've ever held. Welcome to Thailand, am I right? Now you can see it has very long antennae. It's gonna be using those as sensories to navigate through the environment, and you can see how flat it is. Look at how flat its body is. It's specifically designed to fit between bark and bracketed fungus. Between those two beady little eyes and those long horned antennae, there's a set of jaws in the center of the face. These violin beetles are great predators. It doesn't seem to be too dangerous, but you never can be too careful when you're dealing with exotic insects in uncharted territory. How about that? I would call that a very successful adventure out here in Kangkrachan National Park in Southwest Thailand, coming across what is, in my opinion, the most bizarre insect on the planet, the violin beetle. All right, let's put the beetle back under the log and head home. It's hot out here, Corey. Have you ever been inside a volcano before?
I have not.
Okay, neither have I. This is gonna be a first for the brave crew. The sand that's all around us right now is how this entire valley started. That's why the rock formations are here. This was once called the ancient desert sand sea. But over millions of years, the sand hardened into the rock and the sandstone that we see here before us, with the wind and the water shaping all of the sweeping textures that make it so iconic. Now, this volcano erupted 27,000 years ago, so we're gonna see a lot of stuff like this. Basalt blown out of the volcano and landed miles away. Looks like we got a little bit further to go before we get to the lava field, but man, I'm excited. This is an Adventures with Me for the books.
Straight ahead.
It's gotta be right up here. Let's go. Oh man, this is cool. Ho, that's the lava tube. You can see it's coming up from the earth right there. And a lava tube is pretty much a volcano's drainage pipe. When magma rises to the surface, there's a cap, and that cap pressurizes the magma. It spreads that magma out underneath the ground, forming lava tubes just like this. It is very precarious in here. You can see that the walls are all fractured already. This makes me a little bit nervous. Usually when your gut gives you that feeling like maybe you shouldn't go too much further, that's a good warning to heed. But oh my gosh, this even goes further. If you're brave enough, I guess you could explore through these lava tubes, but I'm not sure it's a very good idea. I think that's enough lava tube adventuring for me today. I'm gonna get back on the surface. Not a cloud in sight today. It is a bluebird sky, which means that the sun is gonna punish us. Every step is well earned out here. All right, there it is. There's our path through. This is how we're gonna get up and over this range of sandstone. If you guys are ready, we got one last heave before we see the volcano. We're gonna get scraped up. This stuff is sharp. Well, I have good news and bad news. The good news is it's opening up a lot. Bad news is it's getting really steep. And this is what we call scrambling. It's not walking, it's not rock climbing, it's scrambling. Gotta use your hands, gotta use your feet, gotta wedge your body in between places for more support, and it happens to be a lot of fun. as tiring as it is, I'm really enjoying this. Man, I tell you what, if I was a mountain lion, that's what I would be calling home right there. Don't look down now. There it is. This is so cool. That's the volcano. Surrounded by white sandstone. All right, I think this is where we start making our ascent. I can see the grades getting pretty steep. Probably why they say this trail is for advanced hikers only. Now, volcanoes like this one are known as cinder cone volcanoes. The reason they are called that is because not only are they in the shape of a cone, but when the lava explodes, it does so in very fine fragments like this right here. These are cinders and clinkers. The clinkers have a funny name for a reason, and actually when they roll down hills, they clink. That is why it's called a clinker. Pretty cool, huh? Oh man. Corey, how we doing back there? Okay, legs are on fire. We've come a long way. Look how far. Down from that valley, over that mountain, and then right here to where we're standing. Certainly a full day of adventuring. We're about to see what's waiting on the other side. All right, there it goes. Whoa, there it is. We made it. That's the crater. How cool was this, Corey? One of my favorite expeditions we've done yet. We've taken you on all these wildlife adventures over the years, and we thought it was time to show you what else was out there. So many places on this planet to explore, and we're gonna take you with us every step of the way. But, Corey, if I'm not mistaken, we have a few more steps left. Let's go down in the crater. Wow, not even to the bottom, and it is already an incredible view. Very slippery, very hazardous. Definitely bring your hiking boots if you go on one of these adventures. Just like that. Yes. I just gotta take a moment and just soak this in. Here we are. We made it to the finale of today's adventure inside the Cinder Cone volcano here at Snow Canyon State Park. And now it's time to answer the burning question. I'm sure you're all wondering, Mark, are you and Corey in any danger standing inside the crater of this volcano? No, we're not. And the reason for that is because this volcano is extinct, no longer posing a threat for an eruption. Now, that's not true with all volcanoes. So if you're gonna go on an adventure like this, somewhere else in the world, other than this park, be sure to check out if it's an active volcano or not, and be sure to check with the park services first, because some volcanoes are very, very, very dangerous, and we hate for anyone at home to go on an adventure that got themselves hurt. But this adventure was absolutely epic, if I don't mind saying so myself. We made it to the center of a volcano for the very first time on Brave Wilderness, and I hope you guys enjoy this expedition. I'm Mark Vins. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you guys on the next adventure. Right now, we are searching these tide pools off the coast of Eastern Australia for the most toxic fish on the planet. The stonefish is notorious for having the most painful sting in all of nature. And today, I'm going to get stung by a stonefish. But first, we've got to find one. Let's get looking. It's going to be very hard to find the stonefish because in addition to their legendary sting, they are masters of hiding. The key to this is going to be to move slow, methodically, and to not step on the stonefish. You could be looking right at a stonefish and not even realize it. That's why so many people step on them by accident. But stonefish aren't all we have to look out for. This isn't the only animal that could do you harm here in the tide pools off of Australia. We also have cone snails and the blue ring octopus, one of the most lethal creatures in the world. And not only is it risky just being out here, but we also have to beat the clock. The tide is coming in fast, and this whole area is about to be completely underwater. So if we want to catch a stonefish, we need to do that before it happens. Everything looks exactly the same. This is gonna be tough. Oh, right there. You see it moving? That
is the stonefish. And I never would have seen that fish if it didn't give itself away by moving. Holy smokes. Now these fish are so toxic, they don't really have a flight response. I'm gonna attempt to catch the most toxic fish in the world with my bare hands. All right, here we go. Wow, there it is. That is the stonefish. Look at that tide pool monster. I can't believe we found one. I mean, it looks like a living rock. I never would have spotted this fish if it didn't move. The fact that it swam a little bit there is the only reason I was able to catch this fish. And you can see how docile this fish is. It knows just how toxic it can be. Wow. But the table is set for what will be likely the worst sting I ever take. Placing the stonefish in the tank hit my nerves hard. I'm about to get stung by a stonefish. Stonefish stings are said to be one of the most painful experiences a human can endure, and I've already experienced my fair share of fish stings. One from the most common fish sting, which is the lionfish, and the other from the scorpionfish, which is the most toxic fish sting in North America. Oh, yeah, he got me. Oh. Each sting was painful, but I was certainly able to tough it out with basic treatment. However, each of those fish fall far short of the danger from the stonefish. Not every day you get to carry around the world's most toxic fish in a tank. This fish might just have the worst sting in the entire animal kingdom. Man, my nerves are firing right now. Just looking at this fish is so incredibly cool. Look at all the growths all over its body. Definitely earns its name, the stonefish, a master of camouflage. All right, let's go hands-on once again with the stonefish. The reason I can handle this fish is because it can only sting from the spines on top. Wow. This fish has developed the most potent fish toxin in the world. The toxin is only to defend itself. Unfortunately, as you can see, it is so docile that it's very easy for people to step on these fish. And that is the most common way people are stung by the stonefish. The toxin of this fish not only induces extraordinary pain, it can actually cause muscle spasms and eventual paralysis. And there have even been reported deaths from stonefish stings. But now I think it's time to see how this fish injects its venom. I'm going to just pour out this water. I'm gonna use this little tank here as a platform. This fish is perfectly fine being out of the water for extended periods of time because they've adapted the ability to actually hold water in their gills. It's not uncommon to see stonefish just laying on the rocks in these tide pools. So in the little bit of time that we have it here in front of the cameras, totally fine. All right, so I brought with me a piece of neoprene. I'm going to use this piece of neoprene to simulate skin so I can show you what would happen if you stepped on the stonefish. This animal has the ability to fire its venom into the wound created by its spine. That's why people who are envenomated and step on these stonefish end up in such a bad situation. It's not only that it's the most toxic venom, it's that you also get the most volume. Look at how sharp that spine is. Okay, in order to do this properly, I do need to get out some eye protection, so I'm gonna do that quickly. This venom, it has enough toxin in it to cause vision problems and perhaps even blindness. All right, let's see in slow motion how these spines inject venom. I'm gonna do these top two, you guys ready? Here they go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. Look at that. And it's like blue. Holy cow, look at how much venom just came out of that fish. And let's do another one, do it one more time. Oh my gosh, guys, the spines are blue. And once those spines are out, they stay out and they're ready to defend. All right, let me try these spines on the back here. 1, 2, 3. Wow, that is what would be inside of your foot if you were to step on a stonefish. Now, it will regenerate its venom. This doesn't hurt the fish at all. And you can see these sheaths will just slide right back up. But holy cow, I gotta take a minute and process what I just saw.
Oh, that is bad. I won't lie, I'm getting pretty nervous right now. This is something you should never do. I've consulted experts, people who have been stung. I've done my research, I've done my homework, but even still, I am extremely nervous about what is about to happen. It's said that this is the most painful sting in the world. Wish me luck. The moment has come. It's time to be stung by the world's most toxic fish. I am borderline terrified. I've thought long and hard about whether or not to even go through with this, but I'm doing this today because through my research on the stonefish, I have found a lot of misinformation out there. There is a lot of stories that pretty much describe certain death if you're stung by a stonefish, and that's just simply not the case. While this toxin in the base of its spines is extremely potent, it is thermolyable. So if treated properly and if needed with medical attention, you will survive the sting of a stonefish. Most of the victims that end up dying from stonefish stings, but has more to do with the pain and shock that leads to cardiac arrest. This venom is meant to cause you pain, but I have brought the antidote with me today. A thermos filled with hot water that's around 114 degrees Fahrenheit, a compress to hold over the wound, and then of course, if I do go into any state of anaphylactic shock, I always carry with me an EpiPen. We are about 3 minutes drive from an emergency room, so even if the worst case scenario does unfold today, I should have plenty of time to be able to get to emergency medical attention. All right, my plan today is to take a microdose of stonefish venom. The venom from that neoprene trial is already coating the spikes, so they are locked and loaded, ready to go. When it's all said and done, this should be just extraordinarily painful for me and hopefully very educational for you. This is going to likely be the worst sting that I ever take. I'm Mark Vins, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the stonefish, the most toxic fish in the world. All right, I'm gonna go with this front spine here. Ready? This spine. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Yep. I already feel a burn. I could feel it spreading up my finger right now. And it does not feel good. Wow, the tide is coming in. All right, here, let's, hang on. Let's move out of here, the tide's rolling in.
You okay, Mark?
Yeah, hang on, I'm gonna come over here. Andrew, put the fish back in the tank, man. Oh, right there is where the spine went in. God, immediate fire spreading up my fingers. I can already feel it in these 3.
Can you help, Mark? Are you okay?
No, I'm okay right now. It's like a different magnitude of pain. It is like throbby, achy. Hang on, I gotta walk it off. Yeah. I'm gonna try to tough it out for a little bit. I wanna see how far the venom spreads before I start applying the first aid. This is borderline unbearable. Oh my gosh.
Let me know when you need the water, Mark.
I'm just like, it's making me nervous. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it definitely drew a little bit of blood. Oh, and it is hot. It's like closing my hand is becoming hard. Yeah, it's spreading. It's like all up the back of my hand now. I think I need to go for the hot water, guys. I don't want this to spread anymore. I'm going to the hot water. There we go. Stonefish is good. Now, I need to fix myself. So this hot water will actually stop the venom from working and should help my pain. Every bit as painful as advertised. I never want to do that again. And I need to get more hot water on this sting. And hopefully the pain subsides, but it's still increasing for me. Tingling pain continued to build and spread up through my shoulder all the way to my neck. Even a month after the sting, I still have numbness and tingles in my fingers. The immediate pain wasn't enough to send me to the hospital, but as we released the stonefish, I could imagine what would happen if a full load of its venom were to go in my foot. That instance would send you directly to the hospital. And if you're ever stung, please, you should seek medical attention as soon as possible. Needless to say, the stonefish certainly lives up to the legend of being the most painful fish on the planet. In today's video, we are searching deep into the jungles of Borneo, on the other side of the planet, looking for some of the most prehistoric creatures that still are alive today. I'm talking about creepy crawly animals that could have lived right next to the dinosaurs. And if we're lucky enough, we might even come across the grail animal, the animal that I want to find the most, the Trilobite beetle. All right, you guys ready? Cool? Let's get into it. Come on. I'm gonna be looking for stumps, old rotten logs, flat rocks, things that we can flip that might conceal some of the creatures that we're trying to find. Let's make our way down here to this creek. Great. Nothing. Let's go over here. Oh. Really thought when that started to move, that was gonna be a home run. All right, so we're making our way deeper into the rainforest here at Kinabalu. Ooh, big earthworm.
Whoa!
Oh, that's a monster.
Hefty.
It is not squishy at all. It is really like super tough. Here, Andrew, feel the
Whoa!
it's getting slimy.
Whoa!
Isn't that crazy?
Super slimy. Oh no!
This worm just took up. Oh, look at this grub. Ugh, even better. Check out that bad boy. Oh yeah.
Oh!
Oh gosh. Thanks, buddy. All right, I think we're done with this grub.
This was one gross log.
Yeah. Let's keep going. I know the Trilobite beetle is out here. We've just got to find it. If you're ever out flipping in any environment, whether it's rocks, logs, leaves, whatever it might be, always be considerate and try to replace the environment just how you found it. Watch your step there, major roots. Oh my goodness. Guys, look at the size of that millipede. Hang on, let me see if I can get it. Now some of these can emit a really nasty odor, so I don't want to spook it. You see if I can get it crawling on my hand. Look at the length of that millipede. Probably approaching 5 inches in length. And millipedes, of course, get their name because of all those legs. Millipede means 1,000 feet. Borneo is actually home to the longest millipede in the world. Now, I don't need to worry about this millipede biting me. The only thing you really need to worry about when it comes to millipedes are their toxicity. Some of them are poisonous, but they do feel really strange. Feeling all those little legs grip onto my fingers and crawl across. Andrew, stick your hand out real quick. I wanna show you what this is like. Let's put it on your finger. Don't worry, it won't bite. There you go. What's that like?
Whoa! That's crazy feeling.
They have amazing grip. And they use that grip to climb up and over logs and terrain out here in the rainforest. Well, that's a good start to our adventures here in Borneo. Let's go find something truly unique. Come on. All right. So far, so weird. We're finding all kinds of cool stuff. This environment is perfect for a trilobite beetle. They love tropical forests just like this, with tall tree canopies that allow very little light to reach the ground. Ow! Nothing. No trilobite beetles yet. I really thought we'd see one by now. Covering a ton of ground. Probably hiked at least 4 miles already. Oh man, look at this snag. Oh, here we go. Another kind of millipede. This one's even cooler than the last one. What you're looking at is an armored millipede. They're called armored millipedes because you can see the segments of its body have these pronounced ridges, making it look like body armor. This is something that you could imagine seeing in the time of the dinosaurs. It looks like a living fossil. And here's something really cool about these armored millipedes. Let me show you. If there's ever a situation where this millipede feels threatened, look at what it'll do. It rolls itself into a tight little ball, and you can see how all those armored plates that are really rigid can protect the soft underbelly. It's starting to must. Smell that. Actually, it doesn't smell that bad.
Whoa, it smells sweet.
Right? Like cherries. I'm not kidding, guys. This millipede smells like those red cherries that come in the syrup. What are they? Maraschino?
Maraschino cherries.
Maraschino cherries.
That's exactly what it smells like.
I can't believe that. I expected it to smell like musty and foul, but it actually smells kind of good. If anybody knows, tell us in the comments why this millipede is putting off an odor that makes it smell like cherries. So weird, but so cool at the same time. All right, guys, well, I would say this adventure is heating up. Every creature we're finding is getting more and more bizarre. Let's put this armored millipede back and keep heading down trail. Sometimes when you're flipping, you forget to just look. So I try to always make a rule of like 3 flips, observe. Oh, wow. Got a bit of a break in the canopy here. A lot of light. Oh, look at that hole. Bet something lives in there. Whoa, look at this log snag. Oh! Guys, I got something right there. Here, can you throw this in my backpack real quick? I'm gonna need both hands. Put your cameras right there. We got a Trilobite beetle. Hang on. Nobody move. Got it. Got it. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. We got one. Huh. Yes. Dude. Trilobite beetle, baby. Woo! Oh man, I am pumped. If you guys are wondering, and if you can't tell, this never gets old. Finding a new creature for the first time, this is why I do what I do. This is what I love about making videos on Brave Wilderness, discovering creatures like the Trilobite beetle. Wow, I feel like a little kid again, guys. Okay, first of all, it is a beetle. I know it looks a lot like the millipedes that we found earlier on this adventure, but it is not a millipede. And it gets its name because it looks like a trilobite, which of course trilobites have been extinct for hundreds of millions of years, and we only know them by their fossil remains at this point.
Now, I've actually dug up trilobite fossils in Utah before that were over 500 million years old, and I have to say, those fossils really do look like the trilobite beetle that you see here today, especially those upper body segments.
This is nearly a living version of an animal that looks like something super prehistoric. Right away, first glance, you're thinking millipede. Then you see how it slinks its body along, and you're like, man, is that some kind of worm? Is that some kind of larva? It kind of looks like a helgramite like we've seen along the streams in North America, but it's definitely not. And then you go to the tip of the head there and you see that tiny little head with its beady little eyes and its 2 little antennas sticking out. Look at its abdomen, guys. It almost moves around like a little inchworm. It has like a little foot at the back of its tail and just beep, inches along. As it's crawling around, of course I feel the little tiny legs making contact with my skin, but I'm also getting this like wet sensation. And I've noticed, if I flip it upside down, that little foot. Yeah, that little pad right there, it's wet. I can feel it slinking across. And I don't know if it's like laying down a track of pheromone or what, but it's cold and it's moist and it's weird. It's very weird. And they're very rigid. It's got a cool feel. Andrew, you gotta try it.
Whoa.
See what you think.
Whoa. It's like she has a suit of armor on.
Totally, and it is armored. That is a defense mechanism because look at how slow she moves. This is not a fast creature, so it's gonna rely upon that armor to ward off predators. Also, the aposematic coloration. I'm gonna guess that this insect has a pretty foul taste. And what's even weirder than its appearance is how different it is from its male counterpart. Let's take a look at the male version of this Trilobite beetle right here. What? Are you kidding me? And here's the thing, guys. Scientists were puzzled by this for over 200 years. When this creature was first discovered, they could not figure out what the male of the Trilobite beetle looked like. In fact, it wasn't until the 1980s that a scientist actually followed around one Trilobite beetle for days and days and days, and it saw them mate. That was the only way scientists were able to find out the male version of this species, because the female is just so unique. And not anything against the male version of this insect. Cool looking beetle, right? But nothing is gonna top the cool factor of this female Trilobite beetle. And this is probably gonna go down as one of the strangest creatures I will ever get to present to you on Brave Wilderness, the Trilobite beetle. Yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. I'm Mark Vins, be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. All right, let's go, whoop. Let's go put this beetle right back where we found it. What's going on, everybody? I'm Mark Vins, and to kick off YouTube summer camp, I'm taking you on an adventure with me to build a tide pool aquarium. But before we can fill this thing up, we've got to catch some cool sea creatures. So let's take our dip net and our bucket and get out to the shore. I think the best place to start is going to be up on this ledge. I saw some finger tide pools, and the finger is just like the long tide pool that I'm talking about. Corey, why don't you stay over here? I'm gonna move around this way. This is the exciting part, time to get started. We don't want to mess up our fingers when we're flipping rocks out there, so always bring a good pair of gloves with you whenever you're tide pooling. Those are some really pretty sea urchins. Oh, got a little hermit crab there. Boom, look at that. Hermit crab, yes. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I've got a fish. Looks like a sculpin. Woo! Look at that. Yeah. Whoa. Oh, very slick, very slick. Okay, let's lift up this rock. Oh, look at that. All of those brittle stars. Wow, okay, cool. These are great. Oh boy, look at what I found. Sea star. Yeah, man, look how cool that one is. Going in the bucket. That'll be perfect. Oh, and another hermit crab, great. So this living rock has not only a whelk on it, but it also has a little sea anemone. Perfect, okay, let's go put in our bucket. Well, we've got our bucket of stuff, everything we came out here with. Just make our way back to the beach to build the aquarium. Okay, we've got our water for our new friends here. This tide pool day aquarium is going to be a lot of fun to build. And this is something that you can do even if you don't live near the ocean. You can do this with pond creatures, you can do this with creek creatures, you can even build a worm farm if you're not near any water like Mario and Coyote just did in Columbus, Ohio. Doing day aquariums or setting up small habitats like this is a great way to appreciate the smaller creatures that call our planet home before we release them back into the wild. And yes, that's right, that's why it's called a day aquarium, because everything that goes into this aquarium today is getting released before we leave. All right, let's get started. The first thing we want to do is to create the environment for our creatures. So I'm going to use just some sand, and we're going to hopefully let that settle. So now that we have all the sand in the bottom, we're going to introduce some of our living rocks. Very colorful and very natural looking to this tide pool aquarium. This one has a sea anemone on it, and when I put it in the water, it's actually going to bloom and look really cool. Oh look, you can already see it. There it is. Got a nice bloom on that sea anemone, very cool. Glad we got that one. So we've got our rock set. I'm gonna add some plant life because how could we have a tide pool without plants? How's that look? Nice. These are no longer living creatures, but we have the skeleton of some sea urchins here. Now, certain types of sea urchins around the world are venomous, and if you're spined, it hurts really bad. But these purple sea urchins out here in California are fairly harmless, and their spines are fairly blunt. It's not going to prick me just handling it like this, as long as I hold it carefully. Let's stay in the echinoderm family. These brittle stars are very, very similar to sea stars, except their appendages, as you can see, move a lot more. They're a lot more mobile than most sea stars. Look at them, they're like wriggling around like little octopus. We'll put these down in there and you'll see how quickly these brittle star find their way to cover. Next up, let's look at these cool sea stars. These are awesome, look at that. This is like the tank of echinoderms, Echinoderm City. We've got sea urchins, we've got 2 species of brittle star, and now we're adding these beautiful sea stars. So awesome. And Corey, reach out your hand. Touch that.
Oh.
They're pretty rough, right?
It's like sandpaper.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not as soft as they look. They're pretty rigid. These are 2 little hermit crabs. Look at this, this is pretty cool. This crab actually has eggs underneath its tail. This is a mama crab. Next up, I would love to add our fish of the day, the sculpin. Now these fish can actually be out of water. They can breathe air. See, look at it there, breathing air. This one's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful greens and grays. It almost has a little bit of peach flecking on the face. Look at the eyes on that. So beautiful. All right, there it is. Our tide pool aquarium is finished. And I have to say, I'm really proud of this one. We caught a variety of species this morning and it looks really accurate to this environment. Now, I hope you all enjoyed this adventure making a tide pool aquarium today. If you want to check out the rest of our summer camp videos, there's a link in the description below and an entire playlist of ideas for your summer adventures.
Let's go diving. Diver heading down. Today we are searching for the mysterious limbe sea dragon, easily the smallest dragon on planet Earth. This creature is so hard to find that it remained undetected until 2006 when it was first discovered. Information about it is still extremely limited, as they are notoriously difficult to find due to their size and the fact that they are fast swimmers. Our goals for today are to locate one, capture it on video, and of course observe it and learn more about the behaviors of this bizarre animal. We are diving in a very unique place in the world called the Limbe Strait, which is right in the middle of the Coral Triangle of Indonesia. The type of dive we are on is called a muck dive. This is because we will need to search through loose sediment on the seafloor, or the muck, which is the correct environment to find the limbe sea dragon, as they are often sighted around the slime and algae that they resemble. So we'll start looking by scanning the seafloor for areas that have good hiding spots for the sea dragons to blend in. Our air supply is limited to 50 minutes. Let's get searching. Only found in Limbe, this sea dragon is almost impossible to spot with the naked eye. So I brought with me a specialty lens for my camera that can magnify areas that we want to inspect closely. And there you have it, first spot of the day. That is a ghost pipefish, which are related to the Limbe sea dragon. These fish are also masters of camouflage, but since the creature we are searching for is so small, this one stood right out while scanning with our camera. It appears to be a delicate ghost pipefish, and the way I can tell that is by those weedy looking appendages underneath its snout, and the lack of hair on the rest of its body. What a cool creature. You can almost see right through it, but look at all those vivid colorations, including those super vibrant eyes. Okay, let's keep searching. We have about 60% of the tank left. So far, no signs of the Limbe sea dragon, but seeing that ghost pipefish tells me we're on the right track. We're down here today with some local divers that know this area well, and have seen the limbe sea dragon before. These rocky outcrops are perfect environments for them. They like to tuck into the crevices, and they also have the right kind of algae that they blend into. Okay, I'm getting the signal. There's something over there. This could be it. Alright, this is the right kind of algae. Let's scan this area well with our camera, and hopefully we can find one. I'm also going to need to use some attachments to steady the camera. We are so zoomed in that we have to keep the rig absolutely still. This is the main reason you've likely never seen this animal before. Finding them is a challenge. Filming them is a whole different ballgame that requires specialty equipment. Luckily, today we have the correct setup. Oh my goodness, there it is, the limbe sea dragon. What a majestic and tiny little creature. Let's try to adjust the camera to get a good look at its face. As you can see, it's moving relatively fast for its size. I'm going to have to try to track it until it stops again. This one seems to be on its own, but from what I've read, they usually live in pairs, sometimes up to 10 pairs in one area. So there's a good chance there's more close by. There we go. Now we're still. Despite having the name dragon, these are not that closely related to the Australian sea dragons that people are more familiar with. They are actually more closely related to the pipefish and seahorses that live in this area. So technically, these sea dragons are actually what's known as a pipe dragon. Wow, check that out. Those tiny bright red appendages are really interesting. They almost look like venomous spines or stingers. But I'm certain they can't do me any harm. Those are likely just for appearance to ward off predators. Oh nice, check that out, there's another one. They almost look exactly the same, but this one might be a touch bigger. It's really hard to show the scale on camera, but I cannot stress enough just how tiny this dragon really is. It's also extremely thin. It's only about 1/8 of an inch wide and just under 1 inch in length. It's almost the size of an algae-like eyelash, and it's super hard to keep the camera focused on it, since every small shift I make moves it out of view. Okay, it's moving again. It's so cool how it just drifts through the water. And it uses its fins, you can see right there on the back, to swim right along. But it really looks like a piece of algae. And then when it gets close enough, it can use its long tail to grab on and anchor to the next object. I've actually heard stories of people not realizing they've seen one until they review their photos after the dive, when they thought they were filming other animals only to be photobombed by the limbe sea dragon. But I have to say, as far as a photobomb goes, the limbe sea dragon is one I would welcome any day of the week. And there it goes. What an incredible creature and rare opportunity to see the limbe sea dragon of Indonesia. This is Mark Vins, the Aquanaut, over and out.
This is a very deadly pathogen, and we have to use extreme caution at this point. Okay, so that drop probably has enough brain-eating amoeba on it to take out everyone in this room.
To think, by just enjoying a simple swim in a lake or river, this silent assassin could be invading your body, only to eat you alive. Now that is quite the nightmare. But how common are they? As someone who's always been drawn to the water, I wanted to get to the bottom of this mystery to understand where these parasites really lived. To do so, I partnered up with my good friend, Dr. Hunter Hines, who is a microbial ecologist. We gathered some supplies and we headed out on an adventure into the swamps of South Florida, where we hope to find the dreaded brain-eating amoeba. Needless to say, I had no idea what I was really getting myself into.
So, this is a caged bottle sampler.
A caged bottle sampler.
So we load the bottle into the cage, and the cork's actually really important, Mark, because we're trying to sample these amoeba, and they live in the sediment-water interface, which is that zone at the very bottom of the swamp. So this thing is weighted. We're going to throw this into the water, let it sink down, then we're going to pull the cork, obtaining a sample from that zone. You see all the bubbles come up?
Oh yeah, there they are.
The bubbles stop, we're ready to reel it in.
Look at that. That is some seriously dirty water. Now, Hunter, I won't, but if I were to drink this, how sick would I get?
Probably very sick. Not from the amoeba, but don't drink it.
All right, well, let's put the cap on. Sample 1 in the can. How many more do we have to go?
Quite a few.
Okay, let's get to work. You know, Hunter, I'm not trying to be cocky or anything, but I think I might be good at this. We've got some good samples. I mean, we've got the surface samples, the bottom samples. It's dirty, it's smelly, it's warm. How do you like our chances of finding a Naegleria fowleri today?
Mark, I think we have a great chance to find this amoeba here. So all that's left really is to get back to my lab and take a look at the samples.
All right, man, lead the way.
Let's do it.
As I entered the building marked with biohazard signs, reality set in that we were likely carrying a lethal pathogen in our bags. And probably more than one. Hunter and I immediately got to work sorting through our field samples and labeling who collected each bottle. Using our pipettes and a steady hand, we then carefully prepared slides for a better look under the microscope. We were offered glimpses into thriving microbial worlds, filled with all sorts of bizarre organisms. However, it became quickly apparent that searching each of these samples, one droplet at a time, was an impossible task. So we decided to create an environment in which only the brain-eating amoeba could survive. This process is known as incubation, and it would require heat and a little bit of patience, as we would have to come back the next day to discover if we indeed were successful in finding our microscopic monster. If there are live cultures of this pathogen thriving in the incubator, we would need to proceed with an abundance of caution. In order to do that, we would first have to suit up in our biosafety gear.
So this is a potentially dangerous situation. This is a very deadly pathogen, and we have to use extreme caution at this point. Like we said, safety protocol has definitely leveled up. We have on our protective gear, we're going to be preparing the slides underneath this biohazard hood. And Hunter, do you want to give us a quick rundown of why we're performing the slide prep here?
Yes, this biosafety cabinet, it's creating an airflow. So all the air is staying within there, keeping us protected from this pathogen and giving us a sterile environment to work in.
Got it. So basically, everything past this barrier is potentially contaminated with this pathogen. And even after we're done with our slide prep, Hunter will perform a sterilization procedure to make sure none of these amoeba can crawl out of here, because the only place we want to see Naegleria fowleri is underneath the microscope.
Let's go take a look, Mark.
Wow, there they are, look at them. Those are brain-eating amoeba, Naegleria fowleri.
And the reason it's called brain-eating amoeba, that's exactly what it does. This amoeba will enter your brain and you will die from it.
And almost all cases that have been documented are fatal. Very few people have survived an infection of brain-eating amoeba.
Almost 100% fatality rate, something like 98% in America, and just a handful of cases there's been survivors, yeah.
I mean, you're scrolling around now, and it's very clear to me that there are hundreds, if not thousands,
yeah, thousands
of the brain-eating amoeba in our slide. And Hunter, do you want to describe a little bit about what the amoeba does to the human body if you are unfortunately infected with one?
So the amoeba, it will enter your brain if you're swimming in a freshwater lake or pond and you inhale that water through your nose and it's full of amoeba. It will actually go up the cribriform plate, which is a porous bone behind your nose, and that's where your nerves come down, your olfactory nerves, so you smell. The amoeba follows these nerves up into the front part of your brain where it begins to feed on it.
So your frontal lobe would be a buffet for Naegleria fowleri.
Exactly right, yeah.
And you know, just to put it out there too, because getting water up your nose is a pretty common thing. I mean, I'm sure everyone who's watching this has had that experience at least once or twice in their lifetime. And just because you get water up your nose in fresh water doesn't mean that you need to be overly concerned that you're going to be infected with this pathogen. It's extraordinarily rare.
Yeah, I mean, you think about just here in Florida, there's millions and millions of interactions of people in the water every year, and there's only ever a handful of cases of this, so it's very, very uncommon.
So Hunter, for all the bad things that Naegleria fowleri are capable of doing, what are some of the good things they're doing?
Yeah, so it's actually really important in ecosystems. It's feeding on bacteria. It's a really important member of this microbial loop. It's the foundation of food chains, essentially. And that's true also in the human body. I mean, Mark, several pounds of you is made up of bacterial cells, which are non-human, and they're essential to your survival.
Are you sure?
Positive, yeah. Unfortunately, some microbes get into the wrong place at the wrong time. They can cause us harm, but the vast majority of them are essential to our survival.
I'm sure, anyone out there who hears about a brain-eating amoeba rarely considers them essential to the environment, but they do maintain the balance of their ecosystem.
Yeah. The amoeba doesn't want to be in your brain any more than you want the amoeba there.
For sure. Hunter, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Mark. Thank you so much for featuring the microbial world, and looking forward to next time.
Us too, man. Well, we love it. I hope everyone at home loved it. Until next time, I'm Mark Vins.
I'm Dr. Hunter Hines.
Be brave.
Stay wild.
We'll see you on the next microbial adventure.
If you enjoyed that episode, make sure to search for the Brave Wilderness channel on YouTube so you can join me and the crew on our upcoming adventures.